Hello everybody and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Dalberg. But before that, this video is brought to you by Evil Reg and Greg Meusen. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Dalberg map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now let me read you some of the description. Looking for a new challenge? Then Dalberg is the next step in your agricultural and forestry career. This small village lies in a narrow valley in the southwestern of Germany. On the steep paths and narrow roads, you'll quickly reach your limits when operating heavy machinery. About the map. The map is highly realistic recreation of the small village of Dalberg in a particular valley in a particular area of Germany. It features a vast forest, vineyards, and 60 small to medium fields and meadows located on steep and hard to work slopes. This map includes the Dalberg district with steep, narrow roads and forests, 60 fields and meadows, vineyards in the valley, vast forest areas, partly on extremely steep slopes, 5 pre-placed purchasable production facilities, including a sawmill and biogas plant. Small farm at the edge of the forest with district expansion possibility to the sawmill. 2 realistic sell points, a small warehouse for purchasing pallets and any materials, livestock dealer including purchase soy manure, 50 collectibles, and those are the 50 golden apples from Zielonka. Various missions including dead wood removal, timber transport, rock removal, and field work, and there is AI traffic and AI helpers. Now this map is fairly small to download at 72 megabytes in size. With that said, let's jump back over here to the map and take a look at the PDA. As the description said, this is set in a very, very steep mountainous region with a very narrow valley, and basically we're going to find all of our sell points basically within this valley along either the main road or along a side road, with exception of basically one area, and that's going to be with the biogas plant and our animal dealer. We have all of our standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 25 on this map, and I wanted to show you that we've got an interesting Lua era here. And I meant to test this with respect to the straw harvest add-on, but this does not look like the same Lua error that pops up with respect to straw harvest. If anybody has any idea why this Lua error is coming up here, it'd be love to know down in the description below. But I just general warning that there is a Lua error that is popping up here. Not sure how or why that got through Giants testing. With respect to our starting farmland, we start up by owning farmland ID 65. And that's going to include some bees pre-placed here. And it is along the road in that very narrow valley. We have 2 fields that we own all the way at the other side of the map. And they're going to be fields 30 and 32. That's where we're going to find our harvester and trailer already kind of pre-placed. Now, with respect to the precision farming soil map, this map is making use of the generic soil map that does come with the precision farming mod. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how that is being applied to these fields. We can see fields to the kind of the north of the valley are going to be mostly silty clay with a bit of loam sprinkled in and a little bit of sandy loam and loamy sand there. And then fields south of the valley are going to be more loam than anything else, with some silty clay, sandy loam, and loamy sand mixed in there as well. As far as our crop counter goes, we are looking at the standard FS25 crop counter on this map. With respect to animals, there are no pre-placed animals other than the bees. And then we do have, obviously, contracts available on this map. And as the description said, we do have some of those new contracts also available with respect to rock removal, wood transport, and such. As far as productions go, we have the biogas plant, carpentry, dairy, grape processor, and the sawmill. These are all available. We do not own any at the start. I counted up 4 different particular sell points scattered around the map. We do start out with some starting vehicles, but should we choose to not own the starting farm, we will not have the starting fleet. But we will have all the farm buildings pre-placed exactly how you see them here. And again, we do have the 50 golden apples from Sri Lanka. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. Take a look at our garage menu. We have the Challenger MT635 medium tractor. We also have the John Deere 3650 small tractor. We have our FarmTech EDK 650 as well as the John Deere 980 cultivator. We have the solid stand 1500 Great Plains seeder, and we have the Massey Ferguson 8570 harvester header, and header trailer. So we basically have all of the Riverbend Springs starting machinery. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not include any custom vehicles or implements. Here at our main starting farm, we have some fuel. Got a couple storage sheds for our machinery and such. We have the Sri Lanka farmhouse with our sleep and wardrobe trigger. We have our bees and our bee honey spawn point. We have our farm silo with our dump and fill point. And then, well, here you go. Here's your freebie with respect to the collectibles. Now, right past the farm here, now we've moved over to one of our production points. This is where we're going to find the sawmill. So we don't own the sawmill at the start, but it is right close to our starting farm. And we're going to have our pallet spawn points for our outputs. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for our logs. And we're going to find our wood chip spawn point located right there. Let's get a little bit of height going on here, and we can kind of just take a look at the valley and at the steep slopes on either side of said valley. And if we gain a little bit more height, we're going to eventually be able to clear the valley and see the land beyond. Let's make the map a little bit larger here. And as we look to the south, right here on the edge of the map, you see we have some roads kind of winding up the steep slopes. And up here on top of these mountainous areas, we do have some nice farmland up here. But it's going to take a little bit of a challenge to get your machinery up here to the workable land. Might as well make our way north, and we'll swing kind of around this northern valley road. And we'll come over here to the animal dealer. And here we have our buy point for slurry, our buy point for manure, and our buy point for our animals, as well as our sell point here at the animal dealer. We also have our biogas plant up in this general vicinity. It has 2 pull-through silage bunkers, small little shed for some machinery that may be stored up here, and of course our scale house. We continue to make our way across the northern part of the valley. Another little valley here with some access roads. And then all of this is going to be forestry. And some of these slopes are pretty darn steep. So again, if you're looking for a forestry challenge, then this might be the very map for you. Or if you are maybe thinking about a forestry multiplayer with a bunch of other forestry-minded individuals, then again, this map might just be the one you want to take a look at. Lastly, over here by Farmland ID 18, we're going to find our stone crusher. And it's just going to be this little miniature plant right there. And that's where we're going to be able to bring and sell our stones. So let's go ahead and dive back down into the valley. You can see how steep the land really does drop off here. Got a little bit of a clearing. If we cleared these trees out, you could probably put down some buildings here. Maybe a secondary farm. On the extreme eastern edge of the valley, we do have our farmer's market sell point. So basically the map's edge is right there, and then we're going to have to quickly swing a right, go down the hill, and we have our sell point. Here we have the trailer and harvester set up, and I have to say, like, when I tabbed into this at first, I'm like, whoa, why am I at an angle? I didn't realize that, yeah, the ground is that darn steep here. So again, we're looking at some pretty steep hills, so you might want to consider maybe getting excessive horsepower for your vehicles compared to what maybe the rating is with respect to horsepower for your machinery. So for example, if we come here and take a look at our shop and we see our disc harrow, and we see that this disc harrow is going to require 260 horsepower. Given the steep inclines on this map, you're probably going to want something more upwards of the 350, maybe even 400 horsepower in order to be able to adequately work the fields, unless you are truly going across the slope. But again, you will have to eventually turn and make your way up the slope in order to continue working the fields. As we come into town from the east, we do have some grape areas also located here. Farmland ID 61 and 62, for example. Continue to make our way through the valley. We've got an area here where David's just kind of hanging out. David's house. We have Ben's house, so we have some farmhouses here for our AI. Got small production going on. This is going to be for our grape processor. Further running down the valley, we have here a lime buy point. We have fuel buy point, and we have our dairy production. And here at this production, we want to hang a right, and then this road is going to wind our way up. And eventually we're going to be able to access the top of this valley area. We also then have the road going up to the northern part of the valley. And up here we have another production. And this is going to be our carpentry. Then we picked that one up for $0, so a pretty good deal there. Especially if you are doing this map with forestry. We made our way back down here to the main valley road and hang a right, so we're going to go west. Got some more AI folks. Coming into a sell point located right there. And look, we're back here to our main starting farm and our sawmill. And then we have the map edge not too far past that. So guys, that is basically Dalberg. Now, with respect to low-end systems, we've got a ton of trees here. And even though Giants has definitely gone into efforts with Farm Sim 25 in making tree rendering more efficient, there is just a whole heap load of trees, whole lot to render here. I was getting frame rates in the mid-30s to low 40s on this map. Again, using my test system, which is using just base standard AMD integrated graphics. So it's going to be akin to kind of your Windows-based handhelds, maybe your Steam Deck or something like that. Now, with my medium settings and FSR frame gen enabled, that of course equates out to more like 70 to 80 FPS. So it wasn't too terribly bad, but again, it was kind of low on the frame rates compared to other maps on those systems. So if you are maybe looking at a little underpowered system, then just be aware that you might have to tweak your graphics settings in order to get to having the performance that you may want on this map. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below, because this map again has been out for a little while. We are playing a little bit of catch up, trying to catch up on the 6 maps that was released while I was at the Sim Gaming Expo. This is going to conclude our coverage of the all platform maps and the maps we're going to be starting to pull out. If you're taking a look at this video right after its release, then the next maps are going to be covering PC only releases. There were 4 that were dropped on the Giants mod hub since I was gone, so we're going to be trying to catch up with those as well. So if YouTube is not giving you notifications, do check the channel out, because there are going to be a flood of videos hitting over the next 2 days. Until next time, happy farming.